Hey guys, so I got the samples of Exodus, the new mediums from Macpherson's, and I'm just gonna test them out today. I did get all five. There is Satin Tex, which they say is a satin varnish and basically mixed with some thick medium so that it gives a good texture. There is thick medium, matte varnish, a gloss, and a thinning medium. And I do have Maria's head here, which since I can't use it, it's just a surface that I'm going to try these mediums on today. And they do come with a detailed instructions. Well, yeah, I guess like a definition of each one and how to use it, what it's for, that kind of stuff, which is nice. Most mediums don't come with this stuff, so if you're new and not sure what to use it for, this is a really helpful touch. So we're just gonna take a look, and I didn't realize these were all sealed. I'm just going to pause this real quick and open them all. Alright, so they all were closed with the foil that you saw, which is pretty nice. Actually, if you don't get around using it for a while, I'm assuming it'll prevent it from drying out. So this is really, really interesting. This is the thinning medium. It is, I'm just going to do this just in case. It's really thick, set up in the jar. I'm assuming it'll get thinner when you stir it, but it looks like hair gel. And it is, you could see, completely clear, which is nice. The texture is, it's a bit thin. It's not super thin, but I could see mixing it with paint, it would be awesome for things that you want a little bit thicker, maybe lips, maybe veins. It holds up pretty well. It looks like it'd be easy to get out, but it's definitely not like a super liquid. And these are the ones that I'm definitely more interested in. The Satin Tex, the thick and the matte, and I guess the gloss too. But if you watch my videos, you know that I really love skin texture and am looking for a replacement now that Genesis is done. So this is the Satin Tex. It feels super sticky. It's really, really stringy. It's a little bit thick here. I'm just going to put some on a torn cosmetic wedge here, and we will take a look and see what kind of texture it gives. So I'm just going to smear it on like I would normally with my like thick medium or varnish for skin texture. Oh, this is so sticky. Okay. And I'm just going to do it right here on the top of the head so you can see. It's definitely sticky. I don't know if you guys can hear that. And it does have a pretty nice, very, very subtle skin texture. So yeah, it does give a nice skin texture. Like I said, it is really, really sticky. So application wise, I'm not 100% sure how I would use it. Normally I texture like the entire arms and legs and put those in. This I feel like is something you would not want sitting on the bottom of your whatever you have in your oven. I feel like it would just stick to it really bad. So this is something I would probably do like one side at a time. This is the thick medium, and it is definitely thick. It is, ew, it is super, super stringy, and it feels super sticky. Yeah, I can't say that I like this at all so far, this one. I want to just take a look and see. I usually use Genesis Thick Medium for my more pronounced texture. I just want to take a look and see if that's something I could use this for. I'm going to do it here on the forehead. And let's see if I can get this to show up at all. It leaves the exact same looking texture. Maybe I'll do a little bit right here so you guys could see it better. It didn't look very great with on that forehead mark. You can't really see it very well. Oh, this is so sticky. I don't know how you would use this for hair or anything. Okay, so this is the skin text. I'll do this right here next to it. I don't know if you could see, it does not spread well at all. But it leaves the exact same texture. There's the thick, there's the satin text. So no visible difference there. It does say on the instructions that it's great for hair strands or textured eyebrows. So I'm just going to take one of my little brushes, and I'm really curious to see how you could possibly use this for hair strands. So we're going to just take a look. Let's see if we could use it for hair strands. And I guess that you actually could use it for hair strands. It is super sticky. It is super stringy. So the hair strands are long. You could probably see as I'm trying to draw it out, it's attached to the brush and strings out. So it is probably something, you know, you would need to use a toothpick for. Would work probably better than a brush. You could use a toothpick and break up some of those strands, but it definitely does leave a textured strand. All right, and so we have the matte varnish here. I thought I threw that little thing away, but obviously I did not. And so this is not see-through, it's opaque, which most of the new mediums now are. Again, it is very, very stringy. I really hate that. I really wish that they'd find a way not to do that. Just for comparison, you know, this is old formula matte varnish. It is a little bit opaque too, but it is not stringy at all or sticky. It is much more solid. So you could see this could be an alternative. It's definitely not an equivalent though. And I'm just gonna put some on this sponge here. And so we have Skin Text, thick medium. I'm going to do some matte over here. You can see it goes on white. It leaves actually a better texture than the thick medium or the Skin Text. I don't know if you could see that. But I am going to go ahead, I'm going to bake this when we're done and show you guys what the finishes are like. And lastly, we have the gloss. The gloss is white. It is a little bit, it's definitely stringy, but it doesn't seem as sticky. It seems more stringy because of the consistency. This one looks a lot more like a hand lotion type consistency. And I'm just gonna get a new wedge for this one. Just gonna put it on here. This is something that I would probably only use, I don't really use gloss very much. I use satin for like eyelids and lips, but I'm gonna see how glossy this actually is, if it would be a good finish for nails or something like that. So I will just do this one right here in the front, the gloss. And this is pretty smooth. It does have some texture, but I can see it's already starting to kind of settle. So I'm gonna pop this in the oven. Again, we have our matte, our Skin Text, our gloss, and our thick. So I'm gonna bake this real quick and then we'll see the results. The baking instructions are exactly the same as Genesis, 265, 8 to 10 minutes. Alright, while we are baking that, I actually wanted to show you guys this to compare it to the Xodus Thick. This is Pratt Paints Thick Medium. I did try this one and I really did not like it. I'm going to be really careful here because it is super sticky. I got some on my hand and I tried to wash it off with soap and water. It would not come off. I put mineral spirits on, it would not come off. I ended up having to use a nail brush and coconut oil. It dried instantly on my skin like super glue, pretty much is what it felt like. But although I didn't get this on my hands, looking at the consistency, while the Pratt paint is definitely a lot thinner, you could see it is way thinner. It does not, I guess you can stand it up, but it is way thinner. This is a lot thicker. This doesn't hold its shape at all. So I guess they are a little bit similar in the fact that they are super sticky, and I really do not like that at all. But I can definitely say the Xodus seems a lot thicker, and I would rather use this than the Pratt paints. I didn't actually try the Pratt paints on a baby, and I just bought the thick medium. I didn't buy a full set. I didn't want to waste a bunch of money on a full set if I didn't like the consistency of the one that was most important to me. But I would definitely use this over that, even though, you know, my preference would be original formula Genesis thick medium, which is very thick It is not stringy at all. I really, really wish, there's all these people coming out with all these alternatives. I really wish that they could find a way to replicate the Genesis thick medium. It is the best thick medium I've ever used, and there's absolutely nothing that even compares to it at all. All right, I'm gonna check that head. All right, so Maria's head is baked and cooled. So this is where we did the matte. It actually has a nice smooth matte finish. Although the matte gave me the best texture wet, dry, it is completely smooth. There is no texture at all. It feels kind of soft. It doesn't feel sandpapery, but it is a bit matte. This is where we have the skin text. I don't know if you can see this or not. There's really nothing to see though. The skin text had a very nice texture while it was wet, and there's no texture left at all. After baking and cooling, it is completely smooth. It is just a little bit satin. The thick medium actually has, which is what we used here, I can still see some texture. The texture looks nice. It feels a bit sticky. The strands on the eyebrows did stay as individual strands. They feel sticky also, but they are there. And then the gloss you could see is right here. No texture, which I had assumed because there was pretty much none when we put it on. But it is, I don't know, let's see if you could hear this. It is very, very sticky also. But it is super glossy. I don't know, I wouldn't use this for nails or something. It would just look like they had a manicure. You could see the light like really reflecting off of it. It is super, super shiny. I think the satin is a nice light sheen. It would look good for, corners of the eyes, lips and such. But again, zero texture on the satin. The matte has a nice finish. It's not ultra matte, but it is not shiny. It just looks regular. It feels normal. It feels kind of like an air dry matte would, like maybe Soft Touch or something that's pretty soft. So my final thoughts on this, the matte varnish I think would be a nice finish. I would probably water or thin it with some thinner so it didn't cover up texture. The thick medium I think gives a good texture. It is sticky, so I'm not sure if I were to bake this a couple more times, if that stickiness would go away. On here, it does say that it only needs to be baked one time, but as we all know, Genesis varnish says that too, and we always bake it 3 times. So I might try to bake this some more times, but this is just super sticky. The thick and the gloss are both super, super sticky cured. So they would need a finish over them. So do I love them? No, I don't love them at all. If suddenly tomorrow I had absolutely no Genesis thick medium, would I use Xodus thick? I definitely would. So far it is the best alternative that I've tried. The other ones, the satin text, it has no texture. I wouldn't use that again. I would never use the gloss. It's just, I don't see a point in it, and the satin text, unless you just want a satin finish on something, there's no texture there after baking. So I don't know, they're okay. They're definitely not a Genesis equivalent, but I would use this one again if I had to. Like I said, I have tried a bunch of others, and this is the first thick medium that I've tried besides Genesis that actually leaves a texture after baking and actually leaves individual hair strands after baking. I'm going to try next the Irresistible Heat Set paint. I haven't tried that one yet, the mediums. My dear friend Desiree at Small World Nursery, she's using the mediums and she loves them. She says that they leave really great texture. I've seen, photos, and I've been turned off by the consistency. To me, they look like lotion. But I think I'm going to try those next. When I get them in, I will post a video reviewing them and see what those look like. But overall, I really wanted to love Exodus. I've seen Macpherson's videos, and they looked really amazing in the videos, so I had really high expectations. But honestly, I did not try the thinning medium. I just realized I didn't try mixing that with color. And maybe I'll do that really quick right now and just see how it works. But I did have really high expectations for it, and I'm pretty disappointed with everything except for the thick medium. Like I said, that's the only one that I would use again. Maybe the matte, if, like I said, water thinned with thinning or with thinner, and just using it like as a final finish. I'm not sure if it would cover up texture or not, but I would try that one probably just because of the finish. So I'm just gonna put a little bit here, and I just grabbed my blue because it was close to me. But yeah, that looks like paint mixed with thinner. It's not chunky or stringy. It is nice and smooth. And I think that their thinning medium looks like it would work pretty well. Let's just draw a little line here. It is nice and transparent, and maybe I blotted it a little too hard there. It blots off nicely. It does not seem to remove paint when I wipe it off, which can be the issue with some thinning mediums. But yeah, it's a nice smooth consistency. I do like that it is completely clear, so it just makes your color more transparent. It doesn't make it a pastel or dull it like some of the other heat set thinning mediums I've tried. They're really opaque, and so they change the color of your paint. This does not change the color at all. So yeah, I would use the thinning medium, I would use the thick, and that's about it. If you guys have tried it and you got different results or have different opinions, definitely let me know. If you've tried a different Genesis alternative that you really love, let me know. I have enough Genesis to last me a while, but I am always, I'm really interested in the new heat set products coming out and testing them, and hopefully a great one will come out soon. Alright guys, I hope that you found that helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.